2087. Humanity held its breath. The Odyssey 1 mission promised much. It was our first manned mission to Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. Hopes for alien contact ran high. We waited for their signal. It never came. Odyssey 1 vanished. All contact was lost. Silence. The silence stretched from days into weeks, then months, finally years. Theories ran rampant. Equipment failure, a catastrophic event, no one knew for sure. The loss was devastating. The dream of finding life beyond Earth seemed to die with Odyssey 1, but a flicker of hope remained. We had to know their fate. 7 years later, a new mission was greenlit. Rescue 7. Their mission. Find Odyssey 1 and bring our people home. Rescue 7 hurtled towards Europa, a crew of 6, the best of the best. They had trained for years preparing for this very moment. Each member of the team was a specialist in their field, chosen not just for their skills but for their ability to work under extreme pressure.
Their leader, Captain Elias Ward, hardened by years of space exploration. His experience was invaluable and his calm demeanor under pressure was a beacon for the crew. He had seen the worst space had to offer and had always come out on top.
Dr. Ava Monroe, the mission's biologist, her eyes bright with curiosity and a hint of fear. She was fascinated by the potential discoveries that Europa held. The icy moon was a treasure trove of scientific mysteries, and she was eager to unlock its secrets.
They were humanity's new hope. Their ship, the Aurora, was a marvel of engineering. Equipped with the latest technology, it was designed to withstand the harshest conditions. The Aurora was more than just a ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity and determination, designed for the harsh conditions of Europa. The icy surface and extreme cold were just the beginning of the challenges they would face. The Aurora's reinforced hull and advanced navigation systems were crucial for their survival.
But even the Aurora couldn't completely negate the dangers of landing on an alien moon. The terrain was unpredictable, and the weather could change in an instant. Every second of the descent required precision and nerves of steel.
The descent was rough. The ship shook violently as it entered Europa's atmosphere. The crew braced themselves, knowing that any mistake could be fatal. Turbulence shook the Aurora violently. The instruments flickered, and the crew held their breath. They had trained for this, but nothing could fully prepare them for the reality of the situation. Ice crystals lashed against the viewport, momentarily blinding the crew. The storm outside was relentless, and visibility was almost zero. They relied on their instruments and each other to navigate through the chaos. Tension was thick in the air. They were landing on a graveyard. The remains of previous missions were a stark reminder of the dangers they faced. Each member of the crew knew the risks, but they also knew the importance of their mission. Finally, the Aurora touched down. The engines sputtered and died, leaving an eerie silence in their wake. The crew exhaled in relief, but they knew this was just the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead. They had made it. But the real mission was just beginning. They had to explore, gather data, and most importantly, survive. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders, and they were ready to face whatever Europa had in store for them. The surface of Europa was a desolate expanse of ice and snow. The biting cold seeped through their suits as they stepped onto the alien landscape. They were searching for any sign of Odyssey 1. After days of searching, they found it, or what was left of it. The Odyssey 1 was a mangled wreck, half buried in the ice. A chill went down their spines.
Then they saw it. Carved into the twisted metal of the hull, a message. "Look beneath," it read. The words stark and chilling against the icy backdrop. What lay beneath the ice?
The message sent chills down their spines. It wasn't a distress signal, it was a warning. A sense of dread settled over the crew. They were treading on dangerous ground. Inside the wreckage, they found the Odyssey 1's black box. The once pristine spacecraft now lay in ruins, a ghostly reminder of its former glory. The crew's hearts pounded as they realized this small device might hold the key to unraveling the mystery that had brought them here. It was their only hope of finding out what happened. The black box, though damaged, was their beacon in the dark void of space. Every second spent analyzing it felt like an eternity, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. They huddled inside the Aurora, the air thick with anticipation, their breaths shallow and quick. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional beep of the ship's systems. The air thick with anticipation as Dr. Monroe worked on accessing the data. Each keystroke echoed in the cabin, a stark reminder of the gravity of their situation. As Dr. Monroe worked on accessing the data, the crew exchanged nervous glances. They knew that whatever was on that black box could change everything. Finally, the black box sputtered to life. Static filled the cabin, a harsh reminder of the unknown. The crew held their breath, waiting for a sign, a clue, anything that could explain the fate of Odyssey 1. Then a voice filled with terror cut through the noise. It was a sound that would haunt them forever.
It was Captain Sato, the commander of Odyssey 1. His voice, usually so calm and composed, was now laced with fear and desperation.
We found something under the ice. His words were fragmented, each one a struggle to get out. It's not alone. His voice crackled over the speakers, each word dripping with fear. The crew's eyes widened in horror as they tried to comprehend the implications, each word dripping with fear. The tension in the cabin was palpable, the crew's minds racing with possibilities.
Then, a blood-curdling scream. Silence. The recording ended. The abrupt end left a void, a chilling silence that seemed to stretch on forever. The crew sat in stunned silence, the weight of what they had just heard sinking in. They had come seeking answers, but now they were left with even more questions.
What had they stumbled upon? The thought echoed in their minds, a haunting question with no immediate answer.
What lurked beneath the ice of Europa? The unknown stretched out before them, a vast and terrifying expanse.
They knew they couldn't turn back. The mission had taken on a new urgency, a new purpose. They had to find out what happened to Odyssey 1. The fate of their fellow astronauts depended on it. They had to know what was waiting for them beneath the ice. The answers they sought were buried deep, and they were determined to uncover them, even if it killed them. The crew steeled themselves for the journey ahead, knowing that the path they had chosen was fraught with danger and uncertainty. The Aurora was equipped with a special drill, designed to penetrate Europa's icy shell.
It was a risky maneuver, fraught with danger.
But we had to try.
The drill whined as it bored through the ice. Hours turned into days as they slowly descended into the dark, unknown depths of Europa's ocean. The pressure mounted, both inside the Aurora and within the crew's chests.
Then a flicker on the sonar.
Something massive, something artificial.
They had found something. As they descended further, the outline of a structure came into view. It was colossal, dwarfing the Aurora. It was unlike anything they had ever seen.
The structure was a city of impossible angles and strange luminescent materials.
It was both beautiful and terrifying. This was no natural phenomenon, this was built. They navigated the Aurora through the alien city.
The silence was deafening, broken only by the hum of the ship's engines.
We felt like intruders in a sacred space.
Watched.
Then we saw it.
On the main monitor, a face swam into view. Humanoid, but impossibly large. Its eyes, large and black, stared directly at the camera. It was gone as quickly as it appeared.
The crew was shaken.
They had found life on Europa, but it was a life beyond their comprehension. A life that filled them with a primal dread. They were no longer explorers, they were prey.
The image of the face burned into our minds.
We couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched.
That something out there in the darkness was aware of our presence.
And it wasn't happy.
The attack was sudden and brutal. The Aurora shuddered violently as something slammed into it.
Alarms blared, red lights bathed the cabin in a nightmarish glow.
We saw it on the monitor.
The creature, the face from before, was attacking the Aurora. Its massive limbs, like tentacles, wrapped around the ship, squeezing the life out of it. The Aurora groaned under the pressure. Systems failed, one after another.
We were losing control.
Panic gripped the crew as the creature tore at the Aurora's hull.
Escape seemed impossible.
Their safe haven had become their tomb. They were trapped, at the mercy of a creature beyond their understanding. Hope dwindled with each passing second. Chaos, screams. The Aurora, their only refuge, was being torn apart. The once majestic spacecraft, a symbol of hope and exploration, was now a battlefield. Pieces of the hull were scattered, and the sound of metal twisting and breaking filled the air. The crew's desperate cries echoed through the corridors, a haunting reminder of their dire situation.
Lieutenant Emily Ward, the mission's communication specialist, found herself alone in the wreckage. Her heart pounded as she surveyed the devastation around her. The once bustling ship was now eerily silent, save for the occasional groan of the damaged structure. She had trained for emergencies, but nothing could have prepared her for this. The rest of the crew, gone. Their spacesuits lay abandoned, a stark reminder of the lives lost. Each suit told a story of bravery, of sacrifice, of dreams that would never be realized. Ward felt a pang of guilt. wondering if there was something more she could have done.
She activated her emergency beacon, knowing it was a long shot. The beacon's light flashed rhythmically, a small beacon of hope in the vast darkness. She knew the chances of rescue were slim, but she had to try. It was a call for help, a plea to the universe. But it was all she could do. She was out of options. Except one. Determination set in her eyes as she realized there was still a chance, a slim one, but a chance nonetheless. She couldn't give up now, not when so much was at stake.
Ward saw it, a glint of metal in the wreckage. It caught her eye, standing out amidst the chaos. She moved towards it, her heart racing with anticipation. What could it be? A weapon, a tool, or something more valuable? Captain Sato's log. She grabbed it, knowing it held the key to everything. The log was more than just a record. It was a testament to their mission, their struggles, and their hopes. It contained vital information, data that could change everything. This was bigger than them. The universe needed to know. The secrets within the log could alter the course of history, revealing truths that had been hidden for too long. Ward felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders.
With the log in hand, she headed deeper into the alien city. The ruins loomed around her, ancient and mysterious. Each step she took echoed in the silence, a reminder of the unknown dangers that lay ahead. But she pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a glimmer of hope. Towards the unknown, towards the creature. The tunnel ahead was dark and foreboding, shadows dancing on the walls. She could feel the presence of the creature, a malevolent force that had brought them to this point. But fear was not an option. She had to face it.
Her last transmission crackled across the void. "This is Ward. I'm going in." Her voice was steady, but there was an underlying tension. She knew this could be her final message, but she had to make it count. The universe needed to hear her, to know what they had faced.
Her signal went dead. Silence descended once more upon the icy moon of Europa. The vast frozen landscape was a stark contrast to the chaos that had unfolded. The silence was deafening, a reminder of the isolation and the unknown fate of Lieutenant Ward. The mission, a failure. The creature, victorious, or so it seemed. The abandoned Mission Control Center stood as a monument to their efforts, a silent witness to their struggle. But in the silence, there was still a glimmer of hope. Perhaps somewhere Ward's message had been received. Perhaps their story was not yet over. 50 years passed. The horrors of Europa faded into memory. Until today, a faint signal picked up by a deep space array, a garbled transmission repeating on a loop. It was weak, barely there, but it was unmistakable. Ward's voice. It wasn't them, the city. It was a prison. They were trapped. It's coming. It remembers. It won't stop. The message cut out, leaving a chilling silence in its wake. Fear gripped humanity once more. Ward's final message echoed across the vast emptiness of space, a chilling reminder of the horrors that awaited them in the darkness between the stars. What was coming, and what did it mean? It remembers. The answers, it seemed, were out there, buried beneath the ice of Europa, waiting.